Story is called Tenkaichi. And so immediately off the rip, we hop in and we're posed a question. Who is the strongest warrior in the land of the rising sun? The answer to that question will now finally be revealed. For those of you who are unaware, the land of the rising sun is Japan. This is not history as we know it. We're looking at this sprawling estate, right? This sprawling, almost feudal-looking Japanese estate. But we get sort of a background, right? A little bit of background. The year is 1600. 10 years have passed since Oda Nobunaga saw the unification of the entire land to its completion. And so we kind of get this little historical fiction backdrop, right? And the whole story is kind of like this, and we'll get more into it later, but the whole story kind of takes place in like an alternate half fictional version of historical Japan. But we start off at the Osaka castle, right? We see two people walking through the castle, an old shorter dude and this young dude. The young dude is like, I didn't expect to see the Shogun, to bring us all here in person. This is my first time seeing the Shogun in person. This is the first time the Shogun has requested an audience with me. If that's the case, shit, it must be something important going on. We get this dude's name, and his name is Yagyu Minonori, the Peerless Swordsman. Now, I'm gonna get more into this later, but this I don't know if Yagyu is one of the real ones, but I believe, let me actually look it up real quick. Give me one sec. Yeah, okay. This is an actual historical figure. And so, without getting too much into the premise so far, you know what? Y'all just gonna see. Yagyu looks down at the dude next to him. He's like, so what do you think, Tokugawa? We see this older looking dude, right? Fat ass earlobes, huge earlobes, humongous earlobes. But we see he's a member of the Council of Elders, a dude named Tokugawa Ieyasu. Now, Tokugawa, he looks a little shook, right? He looks a little nervous. He drops he puts a hand on Yagyu's shoulder and he's like, yo, Yagyu, when we get into this temple, or when we get into the audience of the Shogun, I need you to lock in, bro. I need you to be on your P's and Q's. You never know what's gonna cause the Shogun to snap these days. Yagyu's like, oh, for real? Like, so the Shogun be tripping these days? And Tokugawa's like, indeed, just stay careful. They walk into the Shogun's like palace type junk, and there's this giant, entryway with these giant pillars, right? We got dragons going up the pillars and shit. These big golden like serpents spinning around, just all sorts of artwork. It's just mad exquisite, bro. Yagyu looks up, he's like, damn, the Shogun really went crazy with his little palace design. And Tokugawa's like, yo, shh. We're going in now. We're going to see the Shogun. He slides open these two sliding doors, and we see all of these elders sort of lined up, right? Sitting, waiting for the Shogun to enter. We get a look at some of the elders. You don't really got to remember the names as of right now. My dude on the left got some crazy eyebrows. I've never seen a nigga eyebrows connect to his hairline like that. But they're sitting there, and Tokugawa kind of scoping out the scene. He's noting what's going on, and he's like, damn, everyone in here is already like tight. Like every nerve in my body is racked. It's as if right here, right now, we've stepped into a battle for life or death. We get a look at this attendant of Nobunaga, an attendant of the Shogun. They unfurl this fan. They take a deep breath, and they hit the bow down. Immediately, everybody drops down, right? They kowtow themselves. Yagyu, he's trying to play it on some nonchalant type shit, right? Trying to hit the little half bow, trying to make himself look cool. And Tokugawa's like, yo, none of that nonchalant shit right now, bro. Like, bow your head, bro. Make that head hit the ground. The attendant keeps announcing the Shogun's arrival, and we see these like 7 doors or like 5 doors all open up at once. We get a look at what's going on behind the doors, right? The far end of the doors and we see like a skeleton looking thing coming out the darkness. All of a sudden, doom, big ass hand hits the ground, right? It's damn near shaking the ground, and we get to see a bit more of the skeleton start poking out of the shadows into the light where everyone can see it. Yagyu looks up a little bit. He's like, oh shit, this shit kind of crazy. We see this wheel. This wheel has like so much weight on it that it's literally dragging the ground with it, right? Ripping up the ground as it rolls. We see this big ass arm, damn near the size of the whole attendant's body, passing by. And this arm comes through, and Tokugawa's like, he's here. The Demon Lord, Oda Nobunaga. Now, just a quick analysis of what we're looking at right now, right? We got the boy Nobunaga, the shogun, the dude who's basically ruling all the land on this big ass throne, right? Throne got his enemies' skulls up on the top of the throne, bro. Decorated his throne with the skulls of his ops. Got his 2 wives next to him. Got this big swole ass dude goddamn tied up, bro. Rope in his mouth, dragging his cart like a horse, bro. This nigga Oda Nobunaga is on some different shit in this story. And bear in mind, Nobunaga is another character within this story that's loosely based off of an actual historical figure. Just keep that in mind. Nobunaga finally speaks, right? His voice is all shaky. He's old as hell, but he comes out basically doing his little tagline. He's like, I am the eagle. No hiding. One of the elders, he already starts glazing. My lord. He turns to the side. He's like, eh? And then he gets back to what he was saying. Very soon, I will die. Everybody looks up. He's like, therefore, I have considered who I should hand this land over to. Everyone's like, oh shit. He's about to, pick who his successor is going to be. He's about to pick who he's going to hand the land over to. Nobunaga, he's thinking aloud. He's like, so how do I go about this? Should I give the land to my son? Should I give it to one of my retainers? Maybe I should have a vote. Everybody's quiet. They're waiting to figure out what Nobunaga's going to do to pass on his land. He's like, hell nah, bro. All those options are some bullshit. Everybody's like, what? Like, what's going on? What's he about to do? A shadow cast over Nobunaga's face. He's like, I want to see a struggle. A bloody struggle between the masters who possessed the best minds, bodies, and techniques in all of Japan. All the old heads are like, what the fuck? What is bro talking about? He's like, and this nigga old as shit, right? He's hunching over, can barely hold himself up, right? He's like, whoever desires this country must bring me the strongest martial artist in all the land, the Tenkaichi. He takes a deep breath. He's like, and then he starts tweaking, bruh. He's like, let those Tenkaichi kill one another in your place. I shall give this land to whoever brings me the strongest martial artist of them all. Now, what Nobunaga is basically proposing here is somewhat of a proxy battle, right? He doesn't want to let the old heads themselves, he doesn't want to let the elders fight it out over the lands. He wants to give each of the elders an opportunity to find a martial artist to represent them. And whoever's martial artist does the best will basically inherit all of Japan. Everybody's looking at each other. They're like, yo, what the fuck? What is bro talking about? Tokugawa's like, yo, impossible, bro. Bro wants to have the whole fate of the country held over a single martial arts tournament. Like, bro is tripping. All of a sudden, somebody speaks up. Sire, it's Eyebrows. He's like, look, sire, as one of your faithful elders, I, Shibata, must object to such a thing. Tokugawa's like, oh shit, Shibata's standing up. Nobunaga just looks at him. He's like, these 10 years since you've taken over Japan, it's been a time of peace, right? So if we go through with this martial arts tournament, the nation of Japan will be thrown into a chaos, bro. We'll be back in a time of doom. All of a sudden, big heavy ass fan hits this nigga square in the dome, bro. Nigga's eyeballs splatter out of his skeleton. He falls backwards. The fan unfurls. And we see the big swole ass dude who was like dragging Nobunaga's cart. Apparently he was the one who threw this fan. Everyone's like looking at the carnage that just occurred, right? They're like, yo, they just splattered this nigga's head with an iron fan. Like, what is going on? Yagyu, he looks relatively chill about this all going on, but the attendant comes up to the big swole ass nigga and he's like, good boy, sit, you got him. Then they get mad serious. They're like, Nobunaga's word is the word of God. Those who run counter to God will court his wrath. We see this nigga in the background looking absolutely demonic, bro. I don't know what type of timing he's on, but he's looking crazy, bro. The attendant is like, so, anyone else got anything to say? Are there any further objections? All the elders kind of look at each other. They hit it in unison. No, sire. These niggas start glazing, bro. Everyone's head hits the ground. Tokugawa, earlobes, he's like, I can't believe what's going on right now. I understand he has to settle the matter of succession, but to have it over a martial arts tournament is crazy. At this rate, like Japan, we're cooked. I'm gonna wait for that bus to go by. Anywho, he's like, at this rate, if we settle this all over a martial arts tournament, we're cooked. He looks at Yagyu, who's still bowed down next to him, right? Yagyu's chuckling to himself. He's like, he's like, yo, what the fuck is this nigga laughing about? He looks over at Yagyu. Yagyu is tweaking just as hard, bro. Yagyu is like, yo, this shit is nuts, Tokugawa. It's been a long time since we've had a bloodbath quite like this. Bro, you can just tell by the look on this dude's face that he's on some whole other shit right now, bro. Tokugawa's like, Yagyu, you good? Like, you good, my boy? What's going on with you right now? We get a look back at Oda Nobunaga, and he's like, yes, this is my final wish. I want to see all of Japan's strongest warriors in pure pandemonium. He holds up a finger. He's like, here shall be held the proxy conquest battle. Tenkaichi, right? He starts laughing his ass off, looking crazy. Tokugawa's like, yo, what should I do? Like, this is crazy. What am I gonna do? Then he looks up. He's like, I know who I have to call. I need to call this dude immediately. We don't know who this dude is yet, but apparently Tokugawa knows who he has to call to figure out how to settle this situation. We cut to 10 days later, and Nobunaga's proclamation, the Tenkaichi battle, it's making the rounds across Japan, right? Everybody has heard about it. We're at this castle called the Otaki Castle, and in this castle, we see a retainer, right, who just received a letter from Tokugawa, aka Earlobes, and he's like, yo, what the hell? He's getting news of the Tenkaichi tournament. He's like, impossible, bro. They having the fate of Japan on a martial arts tournament. He's like, yo, we have to tell the Lord immediately. Like, where's he at? Where's the Lord? The retainer, he's like, about that, Lord Kawai. The dude's name is Kawai, no Leonard. But he's like, about that, I'm afraid to say that the Lord, and Kawai's like, oh man, say it ain't so. And the dude's like, yeah, he's just having a feast with his retainers, bro. Yet another feast with his retainers. We see these big ass barrels, right? And then we get a look at like this party that the Lord is having, right? He got the lady dancing. He got this big ass goddamn barrel of alcohol. He's just chugging that shit down, bro. Big thirsty ass nigga. Just tanking that shit in one go. Doom, puts the barrel down and just lets out big nasty ass burp, bro. This is the lord of the Otaki Castle. This is the dude who Tokugawa wanted to call Lord Honda Tadakatsu. Now we just saw this nigga knock back that whole entire big ass barrel of alcohol. He's already asking for seconds, bro. Already on a whole different type of timing. But as he's asking for seconds, and I'm actually going to take a drink myself, a drink of water. But as he's asking for seconds, The dude comes up behind him. He's like, no seconds for you, bruh. Like, we got something serious going on right now. He's like, huh? He turns around. He sees Kawai marching towards him. He's like, oh, what's good, Kawai? You came here for the party? And Kawai's like, oh my God, bro. This is who they entrusted to be in charge of a domain, bruh. Kawai mad as hell. He's like, Tadakatsu, what are you doing, bro? Are you aware of your duties? Tadakatsu's like, bro, get out of here with all that politics, government stuff, bro. Like, I'm just trying to have my feast, bro. I'm just trying to have my party. Kawai is like, oh my God, bro. This is disgusting, bro. This can't be the same nigga who killed 1,000 men on the battlefield, bro. We see him like in the past in this big ass samurai suit, bro. He's like, this can't be the same Honda Todakatsu who was going crazy on the battlefield, bro. He's fallen off, bro. He's fallen into degeneracy. And he's like, damn, what's even more lamentable is that all he does is drink. But if you really look at him, you can tell that his mind is elsewhere, that he's not really locked in with like the way he's living right now. Like, he just finds everything to be dull. We get a quick look at like this hoof, right? Like a bull hoof. And you know, a bull, this is off in the distance. A bull starts running towards the party. But Kawhi is just like, all right, bro, I'm gonna let you do your thing. I understand. I'm gonna keep this letter for now. You know, it's from Tokugawa, and you know, I guess you can read it later. Honda's like, you said it's from Tokugawa. All of a sudden, zoom, nigga, fast as hell, boom, snatches the letter from his hand. He starts reading it, bro. He starts reading it. Like, he almost looked like that Ratatouille meme, bro. The Ratatouille meme where he's like reading fast as hell. He's looking at it. He's like, huh? Interesting. All of a sudden, right, we hear back out at the party, you know, the lady is screaming. She's like, run! Kawai turns around, and that big-ass bull that we were just talking about, he crashes the party, right? Apparently, this bull's name is Black Kabuto. And Black Kabuto is just a menace, bro. Apparently, he's been just causing all kinds of trouble on the estate over the past couple weeks. Like, he's just been wreaking havoc, bro. Going around destroying stuff. Kawai looks over at Tadakatsu. He's like, Tadakatsu, we gotta run, bro. Black Kabuto is here. Like, Tadakatsu don't give a damn, bro. He's just sitting there, still reading the letter, bro, locked into the letter. Kawai is like, my lord, run! And he's over here still reading the letter. He's like, interesting. So the whole country is in the hands of a death match between martial artists. I always knew the Shogun was off his rocker. I always knew this dude was crazy. But this, we get the full praise spread of my boy. He's like, this sounds like fun. All of a sudden, doom! Nigga gets crushed by the bull, right? Everyone's like, oh God, we can't look. What is going on? What is going on? Everyone's scared. Everyone's shook. They think it's over for Tadakatsu. But nah, this dude, he got the bull in a chokehold. He's grabbing bro by the horns with his arm around his neck. And he just starts tweaking, bro. Veins bulging out of his arms, bro. They're like, oh shit, Tadakatsu still got it. All of a sudden, he lifts this bull up, bro. Full goddamn 2-3 ton bull. Lifts him up. Suplexes him backwards. Smashes him into the goddamn ground. Everybody's looking at him. They're like, oh shit, did he just one-shot a bull? Like, what the hell is going on? And Kawai's like, yes, this is the Tadakatsu I know, bruh. Tadakatsu's like, Kawai, I want you to send a response letter to Tokugawa. Tell him that I, Honda Todakatsu, resign as my position as daimyo, as the lord of this domain, and I will participate in the Tenkaichi as his most powerful soldier in order to fulfill my final dream. Everyone starts glazing at this point, right? They all happy. They all, well, we got the 3 dudes back there, right? They're absolutely shocked. They don't know what's going on. The girl, she's looking a little smitten, but my boy in the front, he's He's absolutely elated, bro. Tears are in his eyes now over what he just witnessed, bro. Over seeing that his goat did not fall off. 92 days later, all right, big time skip. 92 days later, we're back at the Osaka Castle. Still in 1600. It's the 9th of July, and we see Earlobes again. We see Tokugawa. He's like, it's finally beginning. The tournament is finally here. Nobody can call it off now. There's nothing we can do. Hears someone call from him down the hall, Gramps! He looks up. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize y'all couldn't see that anymore. But he hears someone call from him down the hall. He's like, Gramps! He looks down the hall. We see this boy Tadakatsu, dog bout swole as hell now. He done cut all that extra weight. Dude is absolutely ripped, bro. History's hardest diamond. That's what they're calling him. That's what the author's calling him. We got the author glaze. But we got history's hardest diamond, Honda Tadakatsu. He's like, Gramps, it's been so long. He runs up to him, lifts him up. They're just happy to see each other again. It's a nice moment, I guess a bit of a reunification. I guess they knew each other from the battlefield, type shit. And they're just happy to see each other again. Tokugawa's talking to Tadakatsu, and he's like, I'm not going to lie to you, Tadakatsu. I'm still hesitant. Like, first of all, one, about recruiting you, a daimyo, for the Tenkaichi. It just seems kind of crazy. Like, you already had your stuff. You were already a daimyo. And, now I'm basically putting you in harm's way. And he's like, also, I just don't know about this whole tournament, bruh. Like, I'm trying to become the ruler of the country for the sake of peace, but I don't like the idea of having a fighting tournament for it. Honda lifts bro up, puts him on his shoulder. He's like, already with the complaints, old head, you haven't changed a bit. And he's like, look, man, it doesn't matter how we go about it. I'm going to win this Tenkaichi and make this land yours, just as we always dreamed of back in the day. And I guess we get, a little bit of an exposition, a little bit of a flashback into the history between these two. But yeah. Old head, earlobes, he's looking out into the distance, right? Tears are well into his eyes. It's all emotional. It's all sweet. It's all happy. But then, the day of the tournament finally comes. And so, we get sort of from Tokugawa's POV, right? It was a hot day, hardly a cloud in the sky. One could feel the tremendous fervor and tension within the castle walls. And so we got Honda and Earlobes walking into the castle, right? Walking into the tournament. And he's like, before long, this place will be in the throes of unthinkable, inconceivable violence. They walk into like the tournament ground, right? Where like they're holding everybody. They walk in. We got big bro, tall as hell, even though I guess technically he's younger. But we got Honda up there, buff as hell, swole as hell. And then we got the person who's representing him, Earlobes. And, we get a look out at some of the other people who are participating in the tournament. This death match for control of Japan. Now, I don't want to get too much into, looking at those characters yet. We're going to see them eventually. But, we kind of listen from Tokugawa's POV. And he's like, so these are Japan's strongest. These are the people competing to be the strongest warrior in all of Japan. Honda's like, nice. Every single one of them is, confident in themselves. This is going to be a fun tournament. All of a sudden, someone calls out for Tokugawa. And it's Yagyu from earlier. The dude, who had went to the castle with him to hear the Shogun's announcement. And they're like, oh shit, Yagyu, like, you're participating in the tournament as well? And he's like, yeah, I'm being endorsed by Lord Nobunaga, this guy right here. And so he's actually participating as a fighter as opposed to a lord. All of a sudden, he gives Honda the side eye. He's like, by the way, you have quite the imposing physique, sir. Are you Honda Tadakatsu? Honda looks down at him. He's like, yeah, what of it? Yagyu starts laughing. He's like, I could tell just by looking at you. you're the one who went in the battle 57 times without so much as a single scratch, huh? All of a sudden, he got the tweaker eyes again. He's like, I'd love to be the first one to get the opportunity to injure you. Tadakatsu's like, oh, so you're that peerless swordsman guy, huh? From the Yagyu clan. He's like, you better live up to your name, dojo boy. We'll see who's really peerless soon. Yagyu, he's like, they basically just talking shit, bruh. He's like, wow, for someone who looks so nice, I don't know, he's a little pause from Yagyu, bruh, but, he's still like that. He's like, your body is so beautiful, but your mouth is so foul. And Tadakatsu was like, man, fuck manners. And Tokugawa was like, hey, everybody, relax, bruh, relax. Like, no need to be going back and forth now. Y'all gonna have to kill each other soon. But all of a sudden, doom, this big, like, gong drum thing gets hit, right? Doom, 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 doom. And it's announcing the entrance of the Shogun, right? The Shogun's attendant is there again. They're like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tenkaichi. Everyone's gathered, right? And the attendant's kind of explaining the rules. They're like, all these people gathered right here are 16 daimyo dead set on ruling the country. And representing these daimyo are the 16 strongest fighters in the country. However, even though we have all these strong fighters, there can only be one best, right? And they keep going on. Throughout all of Japan's history, many have been called the strongest, but none have truly risen to the rank of the strongest. However, today, now we're going to figure out who's truly the strongest. Through this tournament, we will finally flip the script, right? We will have all of these strongest people fight each other and make their way to the top of this tournament to see who's truly the strongest. Everyone kind of looking at each other, okay? And we get a look at all of the participants of this tournament. Again, we're not going to stick on this too long because we're going to see them eventually anyway. But this is the bracket right here. So Yagyu's like, oh, okay, it's an elimination tournament. Okay, that makes sense. Only one person can rule the country. We got to do like an elimination type shit. Cool. Tokugawa's like, it's finally the beginning. The tournament is about to go on. Honda, he's looking at the bracket. He's like, this is interesting. My first opponent, I have no idea who this is. I figured everyone here would be like a well-known fighter like myself. And all of a sudden he hears someone from behind him yawning. Man, that was a good ass nap. He turns around. He's like, what the hell? Like, what the hell do you want, kid? All of a sudden this kid stands up. Dog about big as hell, bruh. He's towering over Tadakatsu even. Tokugawa's like, yo, this dude is huge. Honda smiles. He's like, oh, shit, what's your name? You're one of the fighters, aren't you? Dude's like, me? Oh, my name is Miyamoto Musashi. Nigga about cool 6'7", bruh. And he's like, by the way, who are you, Unc? Like, what's going on here? We get some words from the narrator again. Once again, this is not history as we know it, but it truly happened. The battle to decide the strongest of all of Japan. And its name is the Proxy Conquest Battle, Tenkaichi. And then we get into round one, bout one, representing the Chosokabe family, we got Miyamoto Musashi. And representing the Tokugawa family, we got Honda Todakatsu. How long is this manga? Long, and it's not even complete yet. Anyway, so yeah, we cut, and this kind of like the next chapter, so it kind of repeats some of the same stuff. But we're in this hallway, right? This long hallway that leads out to the battlefield. And one of the dudes, he's like, hey, it's arrived here from the Otaki Castle last night. And Tadakatsu's like, man, it's been 10 whole years. I never thought I'd see the day I get to wield this weapon again. All of a sudden, we see the weapon in all of its glory. And he's got this giant ass spear that damn near goes down the whole hallway, bruh. His trusty spear, the Tombokiri. Now, I'm not gonna lie, bruh. This spear about long as hell, bro. He got chains around the spear. Like, everything is looking crazy right now. All right, he's over there looking demonic, shadows over his face. You already know what time it is when an anime character got shadows over his face. But the narrator, you know, gives us some more information. He's like, the demon lord declared that he wanted to see the ultimate death match. And, you know, once again, just kind of declaring like the rules of the tournament, and that he'd give the country to whoever bought him the strongest martial artist. We get a look at all the elders, right? It's an act of utter violence. They're all just sitting there, right? You know, everyone's on edge about what's going on right now. And, you know, Nobunaga's just sitting there, just happy, bro. Happy that this is all about to go down. He low-key got that shit on. I'm not gonna lie to you. Got his big-ass jacket on. But above him, he has this big-ass, like, I guess this big-ass roster, you know, the big-ass, you know, tournament bracket. And, you know, when everyone's finally ready, he's like, all right, let's get this shit cracking. The attendant goes out in front of everybody, you know, all the people watching the tournament. They're like, say less. Let's begin. My liege's feast of blood shall begin now. They pull out this little, you know, I don't even know what that John is. I'm gonna just call it a fan, but they pull out this little fan. They point at one end. They're like, on one corner, way from the east side, representing the Tokugawa family, we have two assets invaluable to Ieyasu. And we see my boy, Honda Todakatsu, stepping out with Tokugawa. You know what I mean? My boy got the drip on. He got his spear now. Shit's about to get wicked out here. You know, the attendance starts glazing a little bit, you know. At the Battle of Anagawa, he faced 10,000 foot soldiers alone and on horseback. And at the that's a big-ass name. And at the Battle of Hirokodozaka, he took on Takeda's strongest cavalry unit in a massive brawl. Basically just letting everybody know that he's the one, bro. He steps out. He's like, the legends left about him are countless. And throughout all of the fights he's ever had, he's never had but a single scratch on his body. We get a look at his spear. Shit look cold as hell. And, you know, he's like, oh, Kongo Neo, Honda Tadakatsu. And Tadakatsu's like, yes, sir. Our conquest starts here, Gramps. Like, let's get this shit popping. Now, we get a look at the full length of this spear, right? And this junk is about big as hell, bro. That shit is like 3 times his size. Yeah. And, you know, everybody's just kind of watching like, yo, this dude is crazy. Like, this shit is actually insane. I'm actually going to just skip the next panel because, oh, wait. I'm just going to skip the next panel because it's on some weird shit. But long story short, through means, we learn that Oda's attendant is a dude, even though they don't look like a dude. I guess they're just cross-dressing. But anyway, they announce the next person, right? The person who's fighting Tokugawa. They're like making his way from the west side, representing the Chosokabe family. And, you know, excuse me. The heir to the man who defeated the swordsman of national renown, Yoshioka Kempo. The peerless swordsmaster, Munisa. And then these are like the two, you know, the two people who are going for the These are like the two people who are representing the fighter, right? Neither of these two are the fighter. They're both esteemed swordsmen themselves. But as we saw before, the fighter himself is Miyamoto Musashi. Now, Musashi, he's sitting there, legs crossed on the ground, arms crossed, head hung over. He's over there sleeping, right? Just dreaming, right? Over here dreaming about tasty dog, bro. Nigga dreaming about eating dogs. Tadakatsu's like, yo, this who they got me fighting? Everyone's like, yo, is this dude actually asleep? Like, what's going on right now? Like, this can't be the dude who they actually trying to have fight Tadakatsu, bro. He's still asleep in his dreams, you know, just, I don't know, dreaming about eating food, bro. And everybody's like, oh, hell nah, bro. Like, they over here disrespecting the tournament, bro. Throw this nigga out right now, bro. Like, this guy's a fraud. Get him out of here right now. And they doing this in the presence of the Shogun. Get him up out of here. The dude who's representing him, he's like, yo, he's talking to. So basically how this team works, the dude with the white hair and the sunglasses, I don't know how he has sunglasses in 1600s Japan. But the dude with the sunglasses is the person who's fighting for the throne, right? The dude with the Wolverine looking cut and, you know, sort of the dude standing next to him, the taller dude, that's Musashi's pops. And obviously Musashi's the fighter. And so the sunglasses dude basically recruited Musashi's pops to get Musashi as his representative. He's like, yo, when is your son gonna wake up? Like, I need him to fight right now. He's like, yeah, I got you. Bop, smacks him in the head. Doesn't care. He's still asleep. He's like, well, it looks like he's not gonna wake up right now. Maybe we can wait another hour or so or something. Everybody's like, oh, hell nah, bro. This nigga fucking up the tournament, bro. Just behead them and get them out of here. Like, nah, get out of here. But Tadakatsu, he just lets out a laugh, right? He's like, everybody's like, yo, what's so funny? He starts walking up to, what's his face? He starts walking up to Musashi and he's like, all right, then, let's see for ourselves what this dude's really about. Is he the real deal or is he just a plain old fool? He lines up his spear to poke this dude, right? To give this dude a gash. And he's like, all I gotta do is hit this man with one attack and we'll see what type of time he's really on, bro. We'll see if he's really like that or if he's just a plain old fool. He lines up his spear, right? He gets ready to push, you know, to do his little spear attack, to shove the spear at him. Musashi's father's like, hey, Lord Chosokabe, I'm gonna need you to step back from me. Everybody's like, oh shit, shit's about to get real. Musashi, right? Just as he's about to wake up, boom! This nigga Tadakatsu hits the spear attack, bro. Destroys the ground beneath Musashi as he's swinging that shit at him, right? Nigga sends debris and rubble and everything flying everywhere. Everyone's like, holy shit, what happened, bro? Like, it damn near looks like a grenade went off where he swung that damn, it damn near looks like a grenade went off where he swung his spear. The attendant's like, damn, I literally blinked and I missed it, right? Tokugawa's like, yup, that's my boy. He's just as strong as ever. But we get a look at Tadakatsu, right? And a smirk comes across his face. All of a sudden, we get a look at his spear, the staff of his spear, and the hands over top of it, right? All of a sudden, somehow, Musashi locked in. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was having a good dream and you just ruined my shit, bro. So what's really up with you right now? Like, what you got going on? Everyone's like, oh shit, you know, they're all staring at each other. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone's like, yo, we did not expect that. And, you know, they're like, okay, he's up. He's ready to squabble. And Musashi's just standing there. He's like, yeah, so what's going on again? Like, why am I here? His representative is like, bro, you're fighting in front of the Shogun himself. Like, lock in. And Tadakatsu, he's amused, right? He's like, I knew you weren't just a plain old fool. Miyamoto Musashi, consider that jab my greetings. Musashi's like, oh shit, I remember you, Unc. I just saw you a couple minutes ago. And so you were the one who woke me up. Okay, that's cool. Honda grabs his spear off the ground, right? Pulls it out the ground, starts spinning it around in the air, you know, flexing on some shit. Boom, grabs the spear, stops it. Everyone in the audience watching is like, yo, he just grabbed that big ass spear and spun it around with one hand. Like, this nigga buff as hell. God damn, this nigga strong as hell. Honda's like, all right then, if you're awake and if you're finally ready to go, let's get right into it. I was holding back with that first strike. I won't be holding back no more. Musashi was like, oh, you were holding back? Phew, all right, that's good to know. Honda's like, what you mean that's good to know? Musashi, all of a sudden, he pulls out a wooden sword. He's like, because if that was all you got, I'm not gonna lie, this fight would hardly be worth it, bro. He's sitting there posed up, bro. Nigga look ready to go. Tadakatsu's like, yo, did you just come to a death match with a wooden sword, bro? Like, what's going on, bro? And Musashi's like, what? I can't bring a wooden sword to the fight. I didn't know there was rules against a wooden sword. Everybody's like, yo, this Musashi guy is insane, bro. Like, what is going on? Tadakatsu, he just seems happy. He's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun, bro. This is gonna be a squabble. Yagyu is watching. He's like, okay, so is this dude insane fighting with a wooden sword? Or is he really just like that? And the attendant, they're like, okay, yeah, anyway, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Everyone, pull yourselves together. Let's start bout 1 of the Tenkaichi, Honda Tadakatsu versus Miyamoto Musashi. Begin. They square off, right? The moment this attendant says begin, Tadakatsu locks in, right? His gaze goes empty, right? And then Musashi, he's like, oh shit. They say instincts were set off in his head, bro. He knows some shit is about to go crazy. All of a sudden, big ass vortex starts swirling in towards Tadakatsu. And then zoom, faster than Musashi could even react, his shoulders tapped. He's like, oh shit, what the hell? Tadakatsu's like, so you managed to dodge it, nice. Musashi's like, oh shit, I could barely track that. Tadakatsu, zoom, he hits another strike. Musashi just barely manages to dodge it again. He's like, holy shit, this dude is mad fast. This is like the fastest I've ever seen in my life. Yagyu is kind of like our narrator to a certain extent for these fights, even though he himself is going to be fighting eventually. He's like, wow, such a swift jab from such a long-handled spear, like that must be practically invisible from head on. This Musashi dude does not stand a chance unless he can get within the range of this dude's spear. Musashi's like, damn, if I just sit here, waiting, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get knocked out. And so he's like, all right, say less then. I'll close the gap. Zoom. He hits to the, next time Tadakatsu swings the spear at him, he splits off to the side and he tries to speed blitz him, right? Everybody's watching him. He's like, oh shit, this dude fast as hell. And he's like, everybody knows that everyone who knows how to squabble knows that wasn't the right move, because all of a sudden Tadakatsu takes the spear, swings it, hits Musashi, basically knocks him across, right? Knocks him down to the ground. Musashi's like, ugh. And then right before he gets up, he lifts the spear up, tries to drop it down on him, right? Tries to crush him with all that force. And Musashi just barely manages to dodge the spear at that point in time. Tadakatsu's like, okay, you got moves. You got moves on you, bro. What are you, a monkey? And Musashi's just standing there, right? Trying to catch his breath. He's like, holy shit, this is crazy. Everybody's watching, right? They're like, yeah, this Musashi's dude, he's nice. He, to be able to even dodge these attacks, he's nice as hell. But I don't know if he can handle Tadakatsu. We get a look at the dude who's representing Musashi, right? He's talking to Musashi's pops. He's like, yo, you told me Musashi was supposed to be the coldest in all of Japan. And the dad is like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you right now. I think I might have underestimated Honda a little bit, bruh. We get a look at Tokugawa. He's like, yeah, I feel sorry for this Musashi boy, but I can already see our victory ahead. Tadakatsu's spear is insurmountable. He starts glazing. He starts glazing like shit, bro. He's like, the power within Honda Tadakatsu's physique is truly his greatest asset. His eyes can gauge the distance between him and an enemy within nary a sun's distance. Just basically glazing this dude all to hell, bro. And with that Neo's grasp, with this great spear, the dragonfly cutter, Tombo Kitty, he starts basically like laying out this dude's stats. He's like arrows, bullets, katanas, spears, foot soldiers. No one is getting him within 20 meters of this dude, right? And we get a look at him. Bro, like, on the low, damn near got, like, a domain expansion, bro. Like, he damn near got a simple domain on some shit. Anyway, he locks in again, right? He winds his spear back, goes to cut him down. Musashi starts charging at him. And he's like, anyone who gets within the range of this dude's attack, like, they're cooked, bro. They can't even reach him. Musashi, he's still running forward. All of a sudden, boom, Tadakatsu hits another spear attack, right? Damn near creating a sonic boom with the attack. Musashi, he pulls out his wooden sword. He tries to do like this spin move to deflect the attack and go under his spear, but the spear is moving with so much force that it actually splinters his sword, right? Everyone's like, oh shit. Musashi, he manages to jump back just in time. But even at this point, right, his wooden sword is cooked, right? Like the dude, Honda, has literally crushed through the sword. He's like, yep, that spear is the absolute territory that kills all within its reach. The military might of Todakatsu, who has seen 57 battles without so much as a single scratch. We get a look at Musashi, right? This is when the real Glaze steps in, bro. We get a look at Musashi, right? His eyes are wide, right? He's like, this technique is called the Kongo Neo, the Varja blockade. And we get a look at this, like, damn near like this representation of how OP this nigga Tadakatsu is, right? He got these two gods next to him protecting him. He's up on top of this giant plateau, this giant pillar, and Musashi's just all the way on the other end of like this mountainous range, right? He's just out of range. He can't touch him. And Tadakatsu's like, not even the gods can get within Honda Tadakatsu's range. Everybody watching, they're like, okay. So let's see what's going on. Let's see how this ends up. Will Musashi, who has this crazy bloodlust in his eyes, be able to match this spear that's been unmatched for ages? Blood starts dripping down from Musashi's face. He's like, holy shit, this is crazy. Everybody's like, oh god, bro, this nigga Musashi's cooked, bro. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. And Musashi's pops is like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Musashi hasn't held the sword in quite some time. Like, this is first time picking up a sword in a minute. The representative's like, you said this nigga hasn't held a sword. You told me he was the coldest in all of Japan, and you got this unexperienced, dull swordsman fighting against Honda Todakatsu. Like, bro, we're cooked. And Pops is like, bro, stay cool. We're gonna be all right. My son's talent knows no bounds. Very soon, at any moment, Musashi will see through that monster's spear. We get a look at Musashi's face, right? Nigga's eyes big as hell, bruh. Damn near looks like he got a goddamn Sharingan activated, right? His eyes are glowing. He has this devious smile on his face, and he's just like, oh yeah, I might die. And that's just making him happy as hell, bruh. All of a sudden, Tadakatsu swings the spear at him again, right? Musashi, he spins his wooden sword in midair, gets it into position, right? They're like, yo, why is he not moving out of the way? Why is he just adjusting his sword? Like, Musashi, move. All of a sudden, boom, the spear hits him, right? Musashi flies backwards with the spear. They're like, oh god, this nigga just took a hit from the spear. Pops is just standing there, right? Standing straight-faced. Tadakatsu, he's like, Miyamoto Musashi, huh? That's your name? We get a look at Musashi. He caught the spear under his arm. He's like, finally caught you. I can finally see your spear. Everyone is shocked now. They're like, yo, what the hell? Like, he anticipated Honda Tadakatsu's attack, right? Tokugawa ain't never seen no shit like this in his life before, right? Musashi Pops about proud as hell. He was like, I knew my boy was a genius, bro. I knew he had it in him. Tadakatsu is impressed. He's like, okay then. If he wants to grab the spear, I'll drag him along with the spear and, slam him into some shit, end it here. He tries to do so, right? He starts swinging the spear. Musashi hits like this weave spin move. Dude is about flexible as hell, but he finds an opening. Hits the weave, plants his feet. Speed blitzes my boy Tadakatsu. Tadakatsu's like, oh shit. He tries to adjust his spear in time, right? He tries to grab his spear back in and hit it with him. Hit him with it, my fault. And then we get the narrator speaking again, right? The narrator's like, Tokugawa's strongest general, Honda Tadakatsu, went in the battle 57 times. In all 57 times, this man has not suffered a single scratch. But on this day, we see Musashi, right? He got the wooden sword in. He, blitzed past this dude. He's like, on this day, that legend came to an end. We get a look at Tadakatsu's arm, right? He has a scratch on it, right? It's bleeding out. And the true struggle of life or death finally began. Let me get a sip of water real quick. Make sure you like the stream up if you haven't already, by the way. Like the stream up, like the stream up. Forgot to mention that. So we really got 5 pages of godly glaze for the homeless homeboy to go toe to toe, you know? All right, let's get it. Back to it. Tadakatsu, he looks down at his arm. He's like, oh shit, I finally got scratched. Musashi, he's having the time of his life right now. He's like, oh yeah, this shit is fun. The attendant is shocked. They're like, what? I can barely track them with my eyes. You know, that anime side character type shit. Oh my gosh, you know, Yagyu is like, well, this is a surprise. Even the Shogun himself, he's getting a little hype. He's like, okay, this is what I came to see. This is what I wanted to see all along. Tokugawa's like, that's ridiculous. Tadakatsu, he's never been injured in his life before. I saw him in the battlefield, having never been injured in before. But now, he's been scarred? Tadakatsu, you know, he starts smiling so hard, he's biting his lips so hard that he's drawing blood. He's like, this little brat actually injured me. The dude representing Musashi's father, who's representing Musashi, you know, he's switching up. Remember how he was just doubting Musashi? Now all of a sudden he's hype as hell. Yes, sir, that's what I'm talking about, Musashi. You know, we turned the table on Honda Tadakatsu in an instant. And, you know, Pops, he's happy, but he's not that surprised. He's like, yeah, that's my child after all, you know? Those movements are as I anticipated. And then he's like, actually, if I'm being honest, this is completely beyond my expectations. Musashi's sword, right, it's finally taking enough damage, it's falling apart. He's like, oh man, my wooden sword broke. He turns around to his Pops. He's like, yo, Pops, run me your sword real quick. Pops is like, say less, bro. You should have, you know, had a sword in the first place. Over here playing with a wooden sword. He grabs the sword. He's like, oh yeah, it's been a minute since I got my hand on one of these. We get a look at Musashi grabbing the sword, right? He's unsheathing the sword. This dude looks absolutely crazy, bro. Nigga's just having the time of his life running squabble. We then get a flashback back to Musashi's childhood, right? 14 years earlier, we see Pops, right? He's over there, you know, playing with his son. He's a W Pops, bro. All things considered, he's a W Pops. I guess maybe apart from, you know, signing up his son for a literal death battle. But he's over there, he's playing with Musashi, trying to make him laugh. And he's like, damn, my son's turning 3 soon, and he still has yet to utter a single word. He doesn't do shit but cry all day. Like, I hope he's all right. You know, he's a bit developmentally delayed, but, you know, I just hope he's okay. You know, Pops is wondering, he's like, why won't you laugh? Like, why won't you talk? I mean, you should be able to walk and talk on your own. And he's like, bro, how is my son going to learn the way of the sword if he's developing so slowly? One day, he's got his son out, you know, they're just walking, you know, walking through the woods, through the city, and they see a samurai who had been slain near their home. The dude is dead, right? His sword was, like, destroyed and, like, shoved into the ground next to him. And he's like, man, to die on the battlefield without honor, you know, that's pitiful. And, you know, he looks down at his son. He's like, let's leave Takazo. For those of you who don't know, well, I mean, that's just like more historical reference type shit. I don't know if it's real. I'm reading the actual Musashi novel. His original name was Takazo before he changed it to Musashi. Or got it changed to Musashi, rather. But he's looking for his son. He's like, yo, where the hell is my son? He turns around, right? He sees his son. His son is grabbing the sword, right? Just casually playing with the sword. He's like, yeah, that was the moment when Musashi first spoke words and walked on his feet for the first time. The first time he saw a sword, he just locked in, bro. He somehow already knew what that shit was called. His little ass 3 years old talking about katana. The dad's like, Takazo, like, chill. You know, that sword can be dangerous. Put it down. But he lifts the sword up, right? Pops is like, no, don't swing that sword. Don't swing that sword. You're going to hurt yourself. You know, just give that to Pops. All of a sudden, Musashi, zah, he swings that joint down and tags his father in the arm. Bear in mind, his father is a master swordsman. He's like, oh yeah, at that moment, when my 3-year-old son slashed my arm, something caught my eye, and I knew this nigga was different, bro. I knew this nigga was on a different type of timing. He's just sitting over here tweaking at 3 years old, talking about katana. Is this a stream or a premiere? This is a stream. This is a stream. He's like, I never seen no shit like this in my life before, bruh. Something I had never witnessed before. There was a tremendous talent for swordsmanship, as if it was sprouting out from the earth itself. So yeah, basically, this nigga Musashi has been different since day one. From that day forward, he would carry a sword at all times. You know, whenever he was playing with the sword. Whenever he was sleeping with the sword. He literally made swordsmanship a part of his body. And then, the day he turned 11, he surpassed his father. Master swordsman, might I add. He surpassed his father, bro. He's a master swordsman at 11 years old. Now, after Musashi surpassed his father, he just stopped carrying his swords, right? He was like, well, I did what I had to do. Like, you niggas dumb boring, bro. You niggas are not strong enough to hold me. He literally was so OP at 11 years old that he just got bored and just quit swordsmanship and started sleeping all day. He's like, you know, basically, he was like a prodigy, right? A once-in-a-lifetime talent with nowhere to go. And so he just fell asleep without realizing his full potential out of getting bored. And so, you know, we cut back to the present. And the dude's like, damn, so that's this dude's backstory? Like, that shit was kind of crazy. There's simply no way that story was true. And Pops basically explains it like, yeah, I basically brought Musashi to this tournament so that he could like unlock his potential again, bro. So that he can really, you know, like, so that he finally has people he can fight with and not be bored anymore. And then so, you know, obviously people, seasoned generals who are OP like Honda Tadakatsu, you know, those are the type of people he wants him fighting. And so he's like, you know, Honda Tadakatsu, thank you. He suddenly yells out at the top of his lungs, bro, thank you, Honda Tadakatsu. Thank you for letting my son reach his potential. You know, nigga just happy as hell, but like, that's a W, Pops, bro. You gotta respect it. Because one thing about Musashi Pops in this story is that Musashi Pops really does genuinely care about his son. Again, apart from the whole signing your son up for a deathmatch thing, that's kind of crazy. But, you know, he does genuinely care about his pops. Everybody like, yo, this nigga yelling loud as a bitch. Musashi embarrassed. He like, yo, Pop, shut up, bro. Shut up. Like, you know what I mean? Nigga embarrassed by his dad, but I think it's kind of sweet. But the dude who's representing them, he's like, yo, shh. Like, don't shout so suddenly, bro. Like, you over here scaring the hoes. And he's like, thank you, my lord, for this opportunity. Thank you, Honda Tadakatsu. The Neo, you have woken up the sleeping monster that is my son. Musashi's like, yo, what is Pops jabbering about, bro? Just yapping. Just yapping. He don't want to hear none of that, bro. He just wants to squabble. Tadakatsu's like, yeah, you know what? Real shit. Shit, I should be thanking you, too. You know, he's warming up, stretching out his arms, getting ready to battle. Musashi's like, huh? What do you mean? And Tadakatsu's like, well, Musashi, he's not the only one to awaken. He's not the only one to lock in on this battlefield. After a lifetime of living unharmed, I've grown too comfortable. I've grown complacent even. And to think I was dragged out of that rut by a kid like you, by a goddamn 17-year-old? Oh yeah, I like this. Let's continue, Musashi. I'm burning like a hellfire, bruh. Time for my feast, bro. We see the goddamn demon god come behind him again, right? Nigga got goddamn ki coming out of his body, got aura coming out of his body. Everybody's just staring, right? They're like, oh shit, he just ramped it up to a whole new level. Yagyu, you know, Yagyu's narrating again. He's like, the calm in the atmosphere before it's completely gone. Like, these niggas are going crazy. Musashi's like, hey, I never felt such a strong killing intent in my life before. I never felt such OP bloodlust. I never knew this type of power was possible. And he's like, man, it sure is nice to know that there are other people in this world who can really hang with me, bruh. Like, it sure is nice to know that there's a martial artist like you in this world. He leans forward. He's like, shit, if I'm squabbling you, then I can still get stronger. I haven't reached the maximum of my potential. I can still fade. We get a look at Musashi. He's like, I'm gonna become the strongest, and I'm finna use you as a springboard. Both of these two got mad energy, mad aura, mad ki, mad chi, whatever you want to call it, floating out of their bodies, bruh. Oda Nobunaga, the Shogun, he's like, yo, if you niggas don't stop doing this anime yapping type shit, squabble right now. I want to see blood spilled. The two of them stare at each other. Zoom, zoom. They run after each other. Bah! Musashi hits the speed blitz. They're like, oh shit, he's faster than before. Now bear in mind, this is the first time Musashi's making the first move. Tadakatsu, he smiles. He's like, hell yeah. Nigga flexes his back. Boom. Rips through his clothes, right? Veins bulging through his back. We can see every ripple of his muscle. He activates his attack. 100-fold spear. Full throttle lightning burst. Hits this nigga with the spear so hard, goddamn lightning bolts are falling out of the spear and shit. Musashi's like, oh shit, that spear moving even faster than before, but now his eyes open up on some Sharingan shit. He's like, shh, now I can see that shit. Hits the weave move, weaves under the spear. Everyone's like, oh shit, he's actually dodging Tadakatsu's spear, right? He's under the spear now. He's got his sword over his head so that he can parry the spear from under it, right? He's moving towards Tadakatsu, but Tadakatsu's like, yeah, we not about to let that happen again. All of a sudden, he puts all of his strength into his hands, and he starts crushing Musashi, bro, putting the full weight of his spear on Musashi's head, trying to crush him to the ground. We literally see this being represented by a literal god hand crushing Musashi, bro. If that's not Glaze, this got to be a top 5 Glaze manga, I'm not gonna lie, bro. They represented the gravity of his spear by God's hand crushing down on Musashi, right? But he's pushing down on Musashi. He's like, and Musashi's like, oh shit, like why is this shit so heavy? This shit is even heavier than before. And you know, Musashi's like, yo, I'm about to get crushed if I don't figure out a way out of this, bruh. We see Musashi, his feet are getting crunched into the ground, right? Like he's literally creating craters in the ground with his feet. He's like, at this rate, if I don't figure some shit out, shit, I'ma die. All of a sudden, Musashi locks in. He's like, no sir, not yet. Diverts all of his strength into his legs, right? Gets himself some forward momentum. Zah! He swings forward, slices the spear in half. Tadakatsu's like, holy shit, this nigga just sliced my spear. Everyone's watching, right? Tokugawa's like, yo, that's impossible. How the fuck is this possible? This demon just sliced through Tadakatsu's spear. We see one end of the spear go flying. Stabs into the ground, right? Face up. His spear is in 2 pieces now, right? Tokugawa's like, oh shit, now that his spear is broken, Tadakatsu is defenseless. We see Musashi running up on this dude, bro. Eyes demonic, full shadow over his face, sword in the air, about to drop down on this dude. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Unk. He's talking to Tadakatsu. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Unk. That hit of yours, yeah, I'm gonna be taking it from you. He swings his sword down, but suddenly he gets stopped. He's like, what the hell? My sword stopped. Why the hell did my sword stop? And we get a look at Tadakatsu. This nigga, oh my god, bro, this is Glaze. He stopped the sword with the blunt end of his spear, bro. He perfectly aligned that 1-inch diameter, 1.5-inch diameter handle to the handle of Musashi's sword to stop it in midair. If that's not Glaze, I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna hold you. If that's not Glaze, I don't know what is. Musashi's sitting there. He's like, yo, what the hell? You know, on some anime type shit. Tadakatsu's like, yeah, this is light work, my boy. You know, this is the big leagues now, bro. You thought you was just gonna get this shit easy? Hell nah. Musashi's like, huh? Tadakatsu's like, I'll have you know, I'm still nowhere near my limit. He pulls back the handle, the half handle of the spear with no blade on it. Da 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 da. Hits that nigga Musashi 5 times in the stomach in 1 second. Sends that nigga flying back. Musashi is like, yo, Are you serious right now? What are those thrusts? We see literal steam emerging from the handle of the spear. He's like, yo, those thrusts were so fast, I couldn't even see them. Yo, Musashi representative. He like, yo, what the fuck? He like, yo, what the fuck? They're like, yo, they just hit him with 5 hits in 1 second? Tokugawa's like, yes, we got him. That's a win. Honda Tadakatsu, he won the fight. Tadakatsu, he finally lets out a breath. He's like, phew. Man, that was a close one. We get a look at Musashi. Bro is knocked down next to his pops in them, right? He's like, yo, you jumped backwards at the last moment. That was a big deal. The dude representing him is like, yo, Musashi, get up, bro. Like, it can't be over yet. Musashi's on the ground, coughing up blood and shit. He talks to the other dude, right? We got his pops, and then we got Sunglasses. He talks to Sunglasses. He's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Sunglasses. Run me your sword right now. Pops is like, what? Musashi gets up. Apparently, dual wielding had been this nigga's secret technique. He had some extra shit in the tank for both of them. We get a look from the narrator. Now that Musashi finally has the nourishment of a strong opponent, now that he finally has someone on his level to fight, he will begin to grow rapidly, right? He'll basically, on some like adaptation shit, right? As the world's greatest talent is standing in his way, he's gonna adapt to the level of that talent more and more, right? We get a look, another glaze panel. We see Honda Tadakatsu as this big ass tree, right? And we see Musashi standing before the tree. He's on like his own little stump, right? Honda Tadakatsu is in both name and deed the strongest military commander in the world. These two are staring at each other. You know, Tadakatsu's like, oh yeah, time for round 3. If these two people had not met, and you know, Musashi's like, so there really is someone stronger than me. But if these two people had not met, Musashi's evolution would have never surpassed the speed of history. He takes out that second sword. Shing. He's dual wielding now. Everyone's staring, right? They're like, holy shit. This nigga Musashi, he still got it in him. And then we get the narrator, right? Standing tall to cut down that giant tree is Musashi. Nigga looked absolutely demonic, bruh. 2 swords in the hand, ready to go bozo mode. And he's just looking at Honda Tadakatsu. And he's like, now is the time I will surpass you.